Now, had it not, though, I mean, we're talking about kisses, we're talking about acting. You are now back in acting. You've gotten some gigs, working again. Hopefully you'll continue to do that. And I know you're working on some other things, but none of this would have even happened had you not really lucked out. I mean, I think you went to the hospital at the right time because the right doctors were there to do the right things for you. Had Dr. Alessi, who operated on your brain, not been there,
I mean, this man saved my life.
you would not be here.
I was told, had I been taken to any other surgery, to any other hospital, I would have died instantly.
And he was the chief of the, what is it, chief of the head and neck at Cedars-Sinai Hospital?
Yeah.
So you got the #1 guy.
He's amazing.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell him that yourself? Please welcome Dr. Alessi to the show. Doctor, why don't you take this one? How are you, sir? Good to meet you. Let me go. I gotta take a little break. Let me take that break. When I come back, I want to talk to you a little bit about how amazing this woman really is. Let's take a break. We'll be back right after this. Doc, this lady, you were called in. Were you the doctor in the emergency room? You couldn't have been. You're the head of the whole thing, right?
No, I was actually called into the operating room, actually, after the neurosurgeon had started to work on her. And the first time I saw her was actually, she was asleep on the table with her scalp already flipped back, so we actually came in looking at her brain, and that's the first time I actually saw her.
So you had no idea what she looked like, or you didn't know who the person was here? You just knew you had somebody that you had to help?
No, all I knew, there was somebody who was in desperate trouble, and who I didn't have any idea who she was, what she did, what she looked like. All I saw was somebody there with half her skull gone and her brain exposed and part of her brain missing.
Just paint the picture for these guys. When you're talking about she had brain damage and brain part missing, how extensive was this? How bad was this? In case of 1 to 10, you're an expert.
10 plus.
10 plus.
10 plus, yeah. Basically, I came in here and she's a strong girl.
It's those inhibitions. Go ahead.
Sorry.
So when I saw her, basically all the skull here was completely gone. Her eyeball, which should be up here, was sitting halfway down in her cheek right here, and the fractures went all the way across to the other side of the floor of the brain. And you lift up the skin, you see brain coming out. It was like toothpaste, and it was just it was a horrible fracture.
So the first thing you had to do, well, I guess the neurosurgeon did, was remove the dead brain tissue.
Right.
And now, that's another silly question for me, but when I hear, I talk to doctors all the time who do, like, hemispherectomies and removing parts of brains for people who have epilepsy and other things, and it takes a long time to recover from that.
Absolutely.
And this one is bounced back like, a yo-yo here. Why?
It's part of it was because of where the injury was. The frontal lobe has a lot of redundancy, and so injuries to the frontal lobe sometimes will not have as much impact as it would be, for example, if it was in the motor strip area or where the area of the brain that controls movement. But also it just has to be because of Louise and the power of God. Who knows why she came out as well as she did. It's just remarkable. You did the first surgery. Did you also do the second surgery? I did the second surgery too. And the second surgery, what did you have to do then? Because since she 238 metal plates in her hand, I'd be afraid to go, how you doing, baby? It's like, can you touch?
Do you want to feel a screw head?
No, I don't want to feel a screw head.
And if you turn her head this way, she gets AM radio too.
But 238 metal plates in her head. I mean, that's amazing. Did you have to do that? Well, I did some of those plates. Some of those plates were taken out and then put back in. What we did with the second surgery was just try to give some framework for the brain to sit in and to support the eye and all the structures around it. And then afterwards, she had to have many other surgeries to reconstruct some of the things that happened initially. Will she now recover some of the things that she's lost? It's been 10 years, but can she still recover some of the areas that she's lost? She will probably recover, I mean, with Louise, she'll probably recover most, if not all of it, because of the fact that she's, number one, who she is and how dynamic her personality is and how plastic her brain is. What that means is that not in a bad way, the brain is plastic means that it can mold and readjust itself after injury. And she's just demonstrated that she has a very, very adaptable brain, and that the injuries she has suffered have basically been accommodated by other parts of the brain. They're just remarkable. We got to take a little break. When we come back, there was a moment, though, where... Sorry? There was a moment when she almost tried her best to undo all the work that you and other doctors did. And that's when you got yourself depressed and started messing around with some stuff that you shouldn't have been messing with. Right?
Right.
Right. Talk about it when we come back. We'll take a little break. We'll be back right after this.